Beyond Emissions podcast, brought to you by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas, broadcasting in the midst of RE Plus Las Vegas. They say this is our Super Bowl in the solar world, and so we're excited to share our special guest today with you, Daniel Moyer. He is actually the sales support trainer, senior sales support trainer at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below to find out more. So we're excited today, Beyond Emissions podcast. We're going to be talking a lot about NEM3 in California, but also as well, from the homeowner's perspective, why does this matter to you, right? Really focusing on that. Why does energy storage make a difference for you and your family or your business? And how to incorporate it? I mean, how do you do it? So we're going to go into some of those ins and outs with our guest today, Daniel Moyer from formerly Simpliphi Power, Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Thanks so much for joining us on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh, for having me today. I'm really excited to be with you today and part of your podcast. Just thinking about the history of Soligent and how much I used Soligent when I was at my old installer company, and how convenient and fast we would get our parts. So thank you again, Josh, for everything you do for not only, Soligent, but for this industry, and really excited to be here today.
Awesome. Now, of course, we talk a lot about the technology, the how, right? The how. Simon Sinek has the start with why philosophy, and the how is in the middle, and the what is the outcome, right? But you start with the why. So the why is beyond emissions. What does a world that is beyond emissions mean for you, the audience, for me, for us, for all of us? That's the why. That's the why of what we're doing here. We're creating an emissions-free future. The how is the technology. The how is the Soligent, the Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions connection, the utilizing that technology to create this world that is beyond emissions, that exists. It's at our fingertips right now as we speak. We're making it happen. We're making a difference. But what does beyond emissions mean for you? Daniel, what does it mean for you, sir?
Well, beyond the obvious, to de-invest from carbon fuels that we've been reliant on for a long time. I think beyond that, beyond emissions really is also moving more towards a decentralized kind of energy grid or energy future, where rather than centralized large power plants, we can move the energy that we generate and store into our homes using photovoltaics, maybe even wind power, maybe even micro hydro power, and then we store that energy at our homes in safe, reliable batteries that can then create a resilient grid if there is outages, but also help to support the grid and be grid interactive. And that's, a lot of what we're going to get into here talking about NEM 3.0.
That's right. Daniel Moyer's with us right now, senior sales support trainer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below. Daniel, you nailed it. Storage, it's a big part of what's going on with NEM3 in California. Most customers, they get up, they're drinking their coffee in the morning. They're not thinking, NEM3. No, they don't probably even realize that it exists. Or if they do, it's just very, very basic, knowledge of it. All they know is their electric bill is going up and up and up and up and up, right? So from the homeowner's perspective, why is a battery, being needed? Why isn't solar taking care of all that? Explain the duck curve. Explain what's happening. Why is storage so important to the homeowner, our utilities, everyone that's using energy and producing energy? That solar energy during the day. We'll talk a little bit about that duck curve. Why is storage, for the homeowner who doesn't know, why does it matter from that standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the reasons it matters is that everybody I would think on this call has been such a great advocate for solar, and we've been working so hard since the first net metering agreements came online with NEM 1.0 back in the 90s, and then further the net metering 2.0 that's about 10 years old now. We were so successful that in California, in summer, during the day, that all of our solar power that was churning out this clean energy essentially satisfied all of the demands, the electricity demands in the state of California. And during the day, in summer, we were essentially producing more than we know what to do with. And what that was causing is really this idea that you couldn't run power plants idle during the day and then turn them up at night. So really, the price of energy was going negative during the day. So for a homeowner, what's happening now with this new net metering agreements is, and essentially, you're no longer getting that one-to-one credit. Under NEM 1.0 and NEM 2.0, if you sent a kilowatt hour back to the grid during summer, during the day, you could then use up that credit at night in the winter and then have that one-to-one credit. With this new net metering agreements, and it's I think it's really an opportunity here, not only for the people to get backup power, but also for the sustainability of the entire state. That now what we need to do really is capture the energy in the middle of the day in batteries, whether that's on consumer-sided batteries or utility-sided batteries, or perhaps even both in some aspects. We can store that energy during the day and then discharge our batteries at night. And this new net metering 3.0 is really not forcing, but encouraging people to adopt this new model of storage. And with the new net metering 3.0, what the new paradigm is, it's not net energy metering, it's net billing tariff, which means that you're no longer getting that one-to-one credit. You're getting this, for every unit of energy you export, you're getting a certain rate, and it's what's called the offset rate, which is essentially what the utility would have to otherwise pay for that unit of electricity on the wholesale market at that moment. So now that you're not getting much for your exports, you're still having to pay full retail rate for your imports. These energy storage systems can now store the energy during the day, and then we can program these systems to discharge it during the night. So really, this new net metering 3.0, what it means for the homeowner, it means that a photovoltaic system, a standalone photovoltaic system without battery storage, probably isn't going to be financially viable to have a payback period without having to pair it with storage.
Energy storage solutions from Briggs and Stratton available here at Soligent. Dan Moyer, awesome senior sales support trainer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, again available right here at Soligent, joining us today. Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, comment down below so you can be a part of our ongoing conversation about creating this world that is beyond emissions, getting some education about NEM 3 from a homeowner's perspective today. I think there's a lot of behind the scenes with the utilities that we just don't think about, right, Daniel? Like production, when a peaker plant has to fire up and they have to buy energy from a peaker plant, that's burning fossil fuels. I mean, not all of the energy that we buy for our grid in California is made in California, right? Sometimes it's maybe created or bought from another, producer in another state where there might not be as stringent of environmental protections and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is really great for our environment as well, isn't it? Storage at the decentralized homeowner level?
Yes, and it's tough. I do recognize that, this, and I want to first just take a moment here to thank CALSA, California Solar and Storage Association. If you are not part of that organization, please consider joining. They're a great lobbying group. I had a really exciting time actually visiting Sacramento a couple months ago, where we lobbied not necessarily for this new net metering agreements, but for other bills that are coming through the California Senate and Assembly House to really make sure that not only are we looking out for the sustainable future of California's electrical grid, but also recognizing that, this new net metering agreement potentially could cost people their jobs. And I recognize that a lot of installers were quick to sign on as many people as they could ahead of time and build up that backlog of customers under the older net metering, and you have a certain number of years to complete those projects as long as you got your application in at that time. And CalSA was was able to articulate exactly what you needed to do to make sure you had those paperworks in. But I recognize, that pipeline is starting to dry up, and that, we're still make sure that we can still make those sales. So it is kind of a situation where it's hard to make sure we have the sustainable future that makes our grid work properly and it's fair to all stakeholders. But also the same ideas that we're able to provide jobs, clean energy jobs for people here in California. One thing that CalSA did actually leading up to this new net metering agreement was host some guests from Hawaii. This happened in Hawaii already. In fact, you're not really able to backfeed the grid in Hawaii. So we were able to interview, or they had interviewed some of these other installers, and there is a future. And this is a great opportunity, this new net metering 3.0, not only to provide this energy for the California grid that's sustainable, but also to provide consumer-sided backup storage. And we can have now batteries in our homes, safe batteries that are reliable with very good warranties that now can cycle daily and be part of a grid interactive battery. I originally got my start at Sunfrost, which was a refrigeration company up here in Arcata, California. And that was really kind of the start of solar. And Soligent, as you probably can attest to, Josh, was there. They were there at the beginning of this solar revolution, which really started with pioneers in the industry living off grid. And now what they've done is now translated into this huge grid tied, grid interactive systems. So I was always excited to be part of Soligent, purchasing from them, and I just want to thank you again, Josh, for all that you've done for not only the industry with this podcast, but also over there at Soligent.
I'm thankful that we get to do this together. I'm thankful for you as well, Daniel. Spoke with Daniel Moyer. Daniel Moyer's with us, senior. I'll call you a senior. You're not a senior as in a elderly gentleman, but you've got senior experience and you're working there. Sales support trainer for Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, available right here at Soligent. You're listening to the Beyond Emissions podcast. I can't claim credit. I'm a part of a bigger picture as well. We're all in this together. And I happen to be the finger and you might be the foot, or the toe or whatever. I can call you a toe and me a finger. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all part of the same body. We're all doing this together. And so many great installers out there. I agree with you. We have empathy. They were doing business a certain way, taking the average kilowatt hours for grid tie solar, slapping PV on a roof, heading on down to the next job. And that was their business model for so many years. And now that NEM 3 is here, customers, these homeowners, you need energy storage to store that energy and consume it rather than selling it back to the utility for pennies on the dollar under NEM 3 now. And, there's a lot of solar installers who just never embraced batteries. And a lot of that, they say, oh, it's because it wasn't needed under NEM 2. I'll tell you, I have talked with a lot of installers over the years before NEM 3 ever came around. And they just didn't want to learn batteries. And when I talk to folks like Brooke Hanner at Offline Solar Electric, my mentor, who 99% of his business is battery-based stuff, and he's my friend, my mentor, the guy that taught me what a kilowatt hour is. Go to offlinesolar.com and check it out. That's the original company owned by Don Loberg, who fought for rooftop solar along with CalSA back, I think, in the 90s. But, Brooke, he taught me, a lot about this business, and a lot of it has to do with, as being an installer, embracing batteries. You have to go through a learning curve. You have to do a lot of them, and you have to have some jobs where you maybe lose some money because you're there longer than you'd like to be paying people to be there. You might have to do some callbacks to get things programmed correctly. There's a learning curve that you go through with storage. But once you get through that break through that wall of that learning curve, on the other side, I mean, it's gold nuggets everywhere. I mean, but you have to go through that learning curve. And I think a lot of solar installers that were previously grid tie only know batteries, and they're afraid of batteries. They're shunning batteries. Forget it. Those folks, a lot of them, they tried batteries once or twice, had a bunch of callbacks, lost money on the job, said, this isn't for me. I'm not doing batteries. Well, now they have to do batteries pretty much under NEM 3. Or like you said, a lot of them are going to go out of business because the traditional solar only model's not sustainable anymore. And, because of that, they're now wanting to just get through it quickly again. But you've got to, like Brooke told me, you've got to go through that learning curve. You've got to be willing to go through a few jobs where you're learning. And then you get on the other side of that, and it's a whole nother world. You embrace storage. It becomes your friend, not something to be afraid of. But that learning curve
absolutely.
is real. I mean, am I correct? Is Brooke correct in that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is. And one of the things that I definitely, the learning curve is not just the how to run conduit to the batteries and the breakers and this. It's also a lot of is the selling, and it's sitting down at the kitchen table with the homeowner and showing the proposal in such a way that it makes sense to them, makes sense to you. And modeling under NEM 3.0 can be difficult to show this exact payback. I mean, even under grid-tied solar, it was difficult with, how much shading do you have on the roof? What's your azimuth? What's the pitch of the roof? So I'm really excited as we're walking around the halls of RE Plus show here that you can visit some of these great companies. And you had mentioned earlier that it's not just, I'm the hand, you're the toe, is that everybody in this industry really can complement each other. And what I'm getting at here is that there's companies like Aurora Solar, Open Solar, Energy Sage. These are companies that have been working hard at looking at some of these maps, or these heat maps that are being produced. So imagine that now you have a different price for payback for energy for every month of the year, for every day of the month, for every hour of the day. And you need very robust, very powerful software programs that can now model this stuff. So that's one thing I think that's really going to help us move forward is creating accurate models that understand what tariff the customer is under. So I think I'm really excited to see not only that modeling, but also a lot of the other people in the industry here at RE Plus, load shedding, grid interactive support, where we let the grid take over our energy storage systems and can discharge it to help support grid. So there's a lot of different parts and pieces. And before we go any further, Josh, I want to thank you for hosting us the other day on your YouTube channel. You had done a number of different interviews of industry leaders under NEM 3.0. So if anybody hasn't checked it out, please check out Josh's YouTube channel and the Soligent.net YouTube channel and look at some of those older kind of NEM 3.0s where we got slide decks, we got visuals, and you've done a great job interviewing some people. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, man. It's, again, get to work with people like you in the industry and willing to take time to educate folks. Daniel's correct. If you'd like to go there now at the Soligent YouTube channel, go there now. The part of the Soligent storage webinar series, we compiled a lot of different webinars teaching you how to sell storage, how to size storage, how to use storage, why does storage matter, all that good stuff, and education available from our different vendor partners, including Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, all right there at the Soligent YouTube channel. And it really breaks it down from every different perspective that you could imagine. So if you're one of those installers who has been hesitant to get into storage, And yes, we empathize with you, but there's a learning curve. You have to be willing to go through that learning curve. Part of the learning curve is learning how to sell it. And I frankly, I'm Josh Brum, host of the Beyond Emissions podcast and energy storage manager here at Soligent, the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. A lot on my shoulders with NEM3, the largest solar state in the nation, California, leading the way. Storage is just becoming a have to. And so many installers out there have not previously embraced storage, and now they have to, or they're going to go out of business or suffer losses. Storage is basically a requirement now for them, and embracing it is difficult if they have shunned it for so long. And so it's on my shoulders, a lot of weight on my shoulders as energy storage manager here at Soligent, to make sure that I give everybody zero excuses to be able to say, well, no one taught me how to sell storage. I don't know how. No, it's at the Soligent YouTube channel. We got like 7 or 8 of our awesome vendor partners, including Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions with Daniel Moyer and Nathan Heston on there. We've got a whole bunch of opportunities at the Soligent YouTube channel that you can go there on demand, and you can learn how to sell storage, how to size storage, why does it matter, what tools to use to be successful in selling storage, etc. All available right here at Soligent. So I really wanted to create an environment, Daniel, in the Soligent Storage webinar series. Again, folks, go to the Soligent YouTube channel to find out more. To leave folks with zero excuses. Because at the end of the day, you either have to embrace storage now or wither on the vine. It's either or. There is no in between. There is no, well, I'm going to continue my old business model and not offer storage. Well, then you're not going to sell any solar systems in California where they're going to get only 8 cents a kilowatt hour for what they overproduce. It just
or less.
Oh my God, yeah, I saw a penny or 3 cents or something ridiculous during some hours. It broke down on the CalSA sheet that you showed us the other day. Another great resource, again, California Solar and Storage Association.
And if you join that organization, you're allowed a members only login, which gives you a lot of not only the resources on that NEM 3.0, but as other resources as well. A lot of great stuff. Another challenge that I was just thinking of, Josh, as you were mentioning, is needing inspectors. A lot of our building inspectors, a lot of our authority having jurisdiction inspectors, a lot of this energy storage is new to them. And so another challenge or another excuse sometimes I hear is that the inspector may not like it. For example, we have to put in a parking bollard, or we have to put drywall in the garage, or we have to put in a heat detector, or we can't put it inside, you got to put it outside. So I think getting our local inspectors and always have an open communication with them and have a good relationship with your local inspectors. So not only are you helping them understand what you're trying to do, but also you're educating the inspectors so that when they're going around town inspecting other people's energy storage systems, that they're making sure they're looking for things that are safe. You got to remember, these building inspectors, they go look at a water heater, they go look at a roof, they go look at a deck, and then they come look at your energy storage system. So understanding that has been a challenge, understanding where to put the rapid shutdown buttons, understanding what kind of labels. PV Labels is a great company if anybody needs their labels done. But understanding how to interact with your inspectors, how to get in your permit plan sets stamped off, I think has been a challenge, and I think that's becoming a lot easier. Green Lancer is a great plan set company that I've always worked with. They create nice, great, you can get them engineered, electrical engineering stamps, structural engineering stamps if you need it. But I think, there really isn't an excuse. There's a lot of resources, and companies like Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions is happy to get on the phone with one of your inspectors that maybe is giving you a hard time. We got a great team of sales application engineers that know their stuff. They know how to talk to these inspectors. So if you're getting any pushback, let me know. Daniel Moyer, sales support trainer at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, and we'll help you out. Work through some of those bugs. And I really applaud our inspectors because they are out there enforcing the things that maybe we think is excessive, but they're enforcing that code for a reason.
Right. And you have the resource available. Again, Email me, storage@soligent.net. That's storage@soligent.net. I'll connect you with all the experts at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions so that we can assist you through navigating those difficult waters sometimes, especially when you're out there in the field. You think you've checked off every single box, and the inspector shows up and, wait a minute, does that even exist? Hold on, let me contact storage@soligent.net, get connected with Briggs and Stratton. Oh, got Daniel Moyer on the line? Yes, that does exist, and here's what you need to show your inspector. Oh, boom, showed the inspector. Oh, wow, yeah, all right, it got approved. And now that inspector is going to go down the street and not cause havoc for the next installer. We're all
or maybe cause havoc in the right way. And I think also going back to what the inspectors are trying to do is, here at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, we use lithium iron phosphate batteries with the cylindrical cell form factor. So we're very proud of our 9540A test report. In fact, we publish it publicly on our website and for everybody to look at. And a lot of people may only show redacted versions. So the reason here is that I'm mentioning this is today, there's maybe a handful of energy storage systems in your neighborhood, but what is it going to look like in 10 or 20 years from now when all of us in this industry have been hard at work adding storage to every other home? What does it look like for the stakeholders? And the NFPA, they're concerned about this. The firefighters, their work environment changes every year as we're out there putting these energy storage systems in. So if you're not already having this conversation with your homeowners, talk about safety, talk about chemistry, talk about form factor, and how the safety of these very energy-dense systems are going onto people's homes. And so these inspectors that maybe they're asking for heat detectors, the parking bollards, the drywall, the X-Rock in the garage, those are reasons that they're doing that. And one of it is safety. And you don't want to be the installer known for having a fire in the neighborhood from your energy storage system. So I'm really excited that we do have this industry that is recognizing the safety of chemistry and form factor as well. And I know you guys at Soligent definitely have been pushing for great products and to have it shipped fast. That's one thing I've always been excited about is I just basically get into my Soligent.net account. I can have a cart, hit ship, and then you guys ship it out to us. And, we got to pay you 30 days later if you give us terms.
It's phenomenal. And folks, we'll play an ad at the very end, our solar engine program. We have financing opportunities as well here at Soligent for your projects, including direct pay. Direct pay is phenomenal because you're able to have the folks that you're financing the project pay Soligent directly, so you don't have to take that capital out of your bank account and tie it up for the project. That's a huge lift off of the business owners that are in this solar business if they take advantage of the direct pay program. In addition, the direct pay program through our solar engine program here at Soligent for financing opportunities, every time you participate in the direct pay program with Soligent, I believe it's through Good Leap, GivePower, donating clean drinking water to folks throughout the world who do not have access to clean drinking water. We take that for granted, don't we? That turning on the water and the water that comes out is clean for us and our families here in America. There are places around the world where that's not the case. So, you're doing it because it's freeing up capital. Direct pay with Soligent and our solar engine program. Ramsey Zimmerman, another great How to Sell Storage and Loans webinar, part of the webinar series at the Soligent YouTube channel. Great job, Ramsey, leading our solar engine team. So if you take a part in that, yes, you're clearing up that capital that you don't have to take out of your bank account, making you more competitive and more efficient as a business by working with the direct pay program here at Soligent. But in addition, you're also helping folks around the world get clean drinking water who do not have access. There are folks who walk miles and miles every single day just to get some murky water for them and their families. It's sad to think, but it's true. And, participating in the direct pay program here at Soligent, you can make a difference, a real difference. I mean, we have helped a lot of people because of you participating in the direct pay program. Because of you, we have helped a lot of people around the world have access to clean drinking water. Isn't that amazing, Daniel?
Yeah, and thinking more about the definition of what I think beyond emissions means is a world that's more equitable for everybody. And so it's very important, absolutely. When I went to university here, I had an opportunity to read a book, Small is Beautiful by E.F. Schumacher, and it talked about appropriate technology. And I think really that's kind of the essence of what's happening here is with this new consumer-sided storage and energy production that we're decentralizing our power grid, and now having these small and beautiful energy storage systems that are in the home. And absolutely that we're having that program. Simpliphi Power was previously bought by Briggs and Stratton. We had an idea program where we gave 1% of gross back to projects around the world, and those are always really exciting, usually in the form of battery donations. And yes, absolutely, that beyond emissions is a world that is carbon neutral and equitable for all the stakeholders in this world going forward, in my definition.
Yeah, and another thing, we don't talk about it enough, but beyond emissions is not just about an amazing clean environment. It's not just about embracing storage and now thriving under NEM 3 in California using storage solutions. Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, available right here at Soligent. Daniel Moyer, Senior Sales Support Trainer, with us today at the Beyond Emissions podcast. It's not just about the economic viability of our businesses and thriving there. It is all about that. It is all about the environment and creating a world that is beyond emissions, but goes even beyond that, helping people get clean drinking water just by doing business through our Solar Engine program. It's amazing. But in addition, look at what's going on geopolitically around the world. You have nations that are, cutting off the oil. Forget the fact that we don't need to use as much. We're not quite there yet. And so some nations are taking that economic bridge away from us by increasing the cost of oil, by decreasing their production. As an example, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia now looking at taking the Chinese yuan for currency for oil transactions, which since the 70s, since the United States got off the gold standard, in a sense, we've had the petrodollar. And now, all of a sudden, other countries are considering not using the dollar. Hence, the reserve currency status of the United States dollar. I don't think it's in jeopardy, but definitely it weakens that status. And the economic viability of America as a free nation, the economic security that we enjoy, even with our issues and inflation and everything we've got going on, we're pretty much inoculated from a lot. Having that reserve currency status. So why am I going this direction? It's called national security. And the United States of America and all the nations of the free world, we're not just getting off of fossil fuels just because of the environment. It's a big part of it, but that's not the biggest reason. Part of it also is we need to claim and grab our own and control our own destiny as it pertains to our energy security, where we're getting
our energy destiny.
Is that correct? Am I off my rocker? I mean, we need to make Saudi Arabia's cutting their oil production, and what Russia's doing or not doing, or what China's doing or not doing. We need to make it irrelevant, don't we? New technologies are now becoming available where storage is going to be very viable. I know we get a lot of cells from China for our storage that we build and we sell and around the world, but we're getting away from certain things. I've heard a lot of people talk about, renewable energy is not a good direction to go. We got to stay on oil because all that cobalt is well, do you sell lithium with cobalt?
No, we don't.
Exactly right.
We definitely have the iron phosphate. And, I'm also thinking a little bit about how we can take existing technologies and use what oil that we currently still use more efficiently. And what I'm thinking is Briggs and Stratton has a great line of standby generators, like gaseous propane natural gas generators. And what we've been excited about recently is now that we're not only a generator provider, but an energy storage provider, we've definitely started to approach the market with using generators and energy storage systems, batteries, home batteries, to complement each other rather than compete with each other. So if you have customers that have existing generators, we can come in and add an energy storage system. Maybe it's nighttime, maybe it's cloudy, maybe they don't even have solar. The solar is not producing. We can use a generator, run the generator at its most fuel-efficient load point, charge up a battery, and then shut the generator off, and then rinse and repeat as the generator comes on and off. A lot of times people have standby generators. They come on, they're massively oversized, and they're running at a 30% load just to keep a couple lights on. So there's opportunities to wean us off of this very addictive fossil fuels, but in such a way that we're still maintaining the needs that run the air conditioners, charge up the batteries when we don't have solar. So I'm really excited to see that, and stay tuned for some upcoming webinars on simplifypower.com, Briggs and Stratton Power Academy, which is our great online learning platform, where we talk about how to take generators and energy storage systems and combine them together. Josh, did you imagine a future or a time when people would have batteries and no solar?
No. Every time in the past that you think of batteries, you think no solar. No, you got to have solar. No, the reality is standalone storage is a part of the Inflation Reduction Act. 30% federal tax credit, standalone storage. Talk about that. Why would folks want to have standalone storage, Daniel?
Maybe they live in the redwoods of Northern California where I'm at. Maybe they don't. There's a lot of reasons people don't go solar. Maybe they need a new roof. Maybe they've qualified for an SGIP payback on some of the products, and Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions is listed on that SGIP program. So there's opportunities there to put in energy storage, right? The battery's only going to last as long as they have juice during an outage. But a lot of outages, and we did some research on this, are shorter than many people realize if you start to exclude major events, right? Your outages only last a couple hours, and you don't really need this microgrid system. Of course, it's nice to have a very resilient system, but you really don't necessarily need this ability. You can store energy in the batteries, and then run the batteries down to cover you on these short outages. And when you start to leverage generators in this system, you really create a robust microgrid system, even when adding solar.
Something I hear as it pertains to standalone storage, I'm so glad you brought that up, is the customer wants to export power from the grid that they've charged the batteries with at opportune times. But you just learned recently that you can only do that if it's green. In other words, if it was produced by the PV array. So standalone storage,
backfeed to the grid.
Right, exactly. Backfeed to the grid, sell it back. So actually, you can still gain savings though, even though you're not selling it back when they're offering X amount for a kilowatt hour at a certain time of the day or of the year. You can self-consume it. If you got it from the grid at 1 a.m. for, I don't know, let's make up a number. How many cents? What's the low number that someone gets charged at like 2 a.m.?
Maybe 10 or 20 cents a kilowatt.
Let's call it 10 cents a kilowatt hour. And then at nighttime, you consume that energy, powering your loads in your home, not selling it back, not getting extra credit for it, just taking that energy that you charged up the batteries with at 2 a.m. for 10 cents a kilowatt hour. And then you use that energy, say at 7 o'clock at night when you're being charged 50 cents a kilowatt hour. Whoa.
Let's call it 60.
You in a sense, just profited 40 cents a kilowatt hour just by looping it internally with yourself, right?
Yeah, and when you have batteries like lithium iron phosphate, which is a lot safer chemistry than cobalt-based chemistries, and using the cylindrical form factor, not pouch cells, not prismatic cells, you get a very long cycle life. And we had mentioned this in the podcast that we had done net metering 3.0, and you can check that out on the Soligent YouTube channel, is that these batteries from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions can be cycled. In fact, if you set your depth of discharge to go down to 80%, that's a 20% stated charge, you can expect about 10,000 cycles on our batteries. And if you're cycling that daily, so 10,000 divided by 365 is how many years, Josh?
27.39 years of life, and I only did that because I remembered it.
Remember? Okay, yeah. and so the point being here is that these batteries aren't just sitting there. They're not just sitting there waiting for an outage. These batteries are grid interactive, and every day you can cycle these and make that little bit of money up, even without solar, like you said, a standalone storage system. And that's absolutely available. One thing really quickly I want to mention, Josh, is not only can I get my batteries from you, but I can get my PV wire. I can get my racking. So I love Iron Ridge. I'm going to go check out the Iron Ridge booth. It's one of my favorite racking companies. There's not to talk on other ones, but I can get my load centers from you. I can get my PV wire from you. I can get a lot of the different parts and pieces all at one place. And I don't have to go shopping around. It takes a long time to source all this, inventory it. I just hit send or hit submit on my cart. And a lot of times I have a saved cart, so I don't even have to recreate my cart on Soligent.net. And then 2 days later, even 1 day later, a pallet shows up at my shop, inventory stuff, and we're off to the races. And I put it together for the installers and get them out the door. So again, Josh, thanks for everything Soligent does for the industry, and I'm really excited to walk around and check out some stuff here at RE Plus.
That's awesome. RE Plus, booth 5949. Come on by and see Soligent. What's your booth number? For
5554, and we're kind of neighbors, and we're right next to the Carhartt booth. So if you're walking around and you see Carhartt, you're close. It's actually next to there's a stage, the solar storage stage, and so we're right in that neighborhood. Come by and say hi to Josh and myself, Daniel Moyer.
Very cool, very cool. One more thing I want to throw in before we end the broadcast today, which, by the way, thanks for being here, folks. Thanks for tuning in every single week, making us the number one renewable energy podcast on planet Earth, the Beyond Emissions podcast. Brought to you by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. And we want to thank Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions for sharing senior sales support trainer today, Daniel Moyer. Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below to find out more. Now, Daniel, before we go, 15-year warranty. Like, that is amazing. Unlimited cycles. So
exactly right.
It's the calm batteries, right?
So it's on our communicating batteries, which are Ampliphi and Simpliphi batteries. These have very robust proprietary battery management systems in our batteries. We have them communicating with SolarArc with our own inverter. 15-year warranties, and you named it. It was unlimited cycles. So there's no cycle life. That's at 100% depth of discharge, and there's no throughput warranty. A lot of our competitors might say a certain number of cycles, certain percent depth of discharge, a certain amount of throughput, which is how much energy you put into and take out of a battery. So really excited to have that simple warranty and move forward. Our Phi batteries, which is a standard non-communicating battery, which is fine. It still has that cylindrical cell form factor, the lithium ion chemistry in it, but those are perfect batteries for doing lead acid battery replacements. Come by the booth 5554, check out Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. I'll be doing a training on how we size, not only for power, but also for energy, on how to replace existing lead acid batteries with safe, reliable, long-lasting lithium-ion chemistry, and do it in such a way that we're not going to damage any equipment. And we're very able to compatible with Schneider, Outback, Morningstar, Victron. So come by the booth, check it out. I know, are you going to be at the booth? What do you got going at your booth there?
Well, I'm excited. I'm going to have the big sign that says, "Ask me about batteries." So look for the big guy. I'm a big guy. I'm almost 6'7", about 340-something pounds. And so you won't miss me. Let's just put it that way. Right, Daniel? You're not going to miss me. But walk on by our booth, 5949, and you'll see me chilling there in the product section with a big sign that says, "Ask me about batteries." My goal this go around for RE Plus is just to be an educational resource. So if you want to come by, that's what I'm going to be there doing. And of course, we're able to provide salespeople, homeowners with one-on-one trainings. So just email me, storage@soligent.net, to find out more. How exciting! Well, get back to it. RE Plus, we're rocking it in Vegas this week, making it happen. Come by our booths, say howdy. We're both near the Carhartt booth, and we're looking forward to seeing you there. Real quick before we go, your favorite story from just all the years you've been in the business, that makes you chuckle, that a funny story. Maybe it wasn't funny at the time that it happened, but it's funny now in the rearview mirror. Funny story that you could think of in your mind. What's the funniest story that you've ever encountered in the renewable energy business, where it's like, are you for real? Right?
Oh,
one of those.
Yeah, put me on the spot. Maybe my solar pathfinder falling off a roof. The little tripod legs. I don't know if you remember people before the advent of Google imagery and Aurora and Soligent. What did we do? We got up on the roof and we got a solar pathfinder and, that little dome lid, and we would get out our wax pen and fill it out. And I'm sitting up there, and wouldn't you know, the thing falls off the roof. It didn't damage it, surprisingly, but it was definitely a funny story for me. And I didn't fall off the roof, so it wouldn't have been funny if that had happened. But yeah, exciting to be part of. So I still sometimes do that, Josh. I'll still sometimes get out the solar pathfinder, and it's a great visual to sit there with the homeowner. And I don't take them on the roof. Usually we sit on the back south side of the house and try and, it's a great way to say, okay, if you cut that tree down or you just trim up those branches, you're able to see what happens. So, yeah, it wouldn't have been that funny had I fall off the roof, but no worse for the wear.
I hate roofs. I don't get up on my roof. No way. We heart you installers. We love you installers for doing this every single day, getting up on the roof. That in and of itself is taking a risk every single day, and just how thankful we are that you move forward and you work hard every day in this business to help homeowners and business owners thrive in California and all around the United States and around the world using solar and energy storage solutions. Just phenomenal. Well, thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you, Josh. If our listeners would like to contact you and follow up after RE Plus, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, we can sales at simplifypower.com. Check out briggsandstratton.com, and we can help you out. We can get you paired up with one of our sales application engineers, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. All right. Energy storage solutions from Briggs and Stratton, available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below to find out more. Senior Sales Support Trainer Daniel Moyer from Briggs and Stratton with us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Daniel. Appreciate it. Hang on the line. Josh. Hey, you're welcome, sir. Hang on the line for engineers, and I'll be right with you. God, how awesome is that? We get to work with experts from around the world like Daniel. If you'd like to connect with Daniel or myself regarding energy storage solutions or otherwise, available right here at Soligent, email me, storage@soligent.net. That's storage@soligent.net. I'm Josh Brum, Energy Storage Manager here at Soligent and host of the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel, also as well Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. We're everywhere, man. Beyond Emissions podcast. Brought to you by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something Lone Pal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound Lone Pal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through Lone Pal. That's right. Every time your company uses your Lone Pal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more.